skills, no, but I am definitely entertained.
You say interdict? You say interdict? You said interdict. You're still on Netflix and chill. You're still on Netflix. You're still on Netflix and chill, aren't you? Because it's like entertain dick.
You know what an asshole Eddie is? I stand outside. He's like, "Aren't you cold?" I'm like, "My feet are cold," but that's about it. He's like, "Oh, it's probably because you're fat."
I did not say that.
I say you're not cold.
I mean, you brought up a good sequels.
That's what we're doing now? Gotcha. All right, cool. All right. That's what we're going. That's what we're doing. Gotcha.
Okay.
You Game green, service beige.
Let's do this.
Word. So today we had a malfunction with a guest not being here. So essentially this is gonna be about Horde, but I'm just gonna what? Oh, okay. Couldn't hear you there. So yeah, we're gonna talk about Horde today. It's me. It's the pretty one, Pretty Rob. It's also the gentleman Rob.
Nope.
And Millhouse is here. Let's see if he's gonna. No, I can do your usual.
Oh yeah, I'm here. I'm just trying to get comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, there we go.
I'll push it up. There we go. And the drip is via Zoom again because that's what the drip can do. He doesn't have to show up. He's contractually obligated to do so. But you know, it's all good. Nothing. Just laughing.
Hello.
There you go. So usually it's well drawn out. I produce or write a script and everyone's just like, oh, this and this. They make fun of it. Millhouse says bitches.
I was about to say I didn't get an email. So.
Yeah.
I mean, but I was wing it.
You always wing it anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter.
Fucking wing it.
Yeah. So essentially, usually we go through that, but the only person missing out of this group right now is
Mustache.
Mustache.
I mean, Eli.
Eli's not mustache. He's eyebrows.
Eyebrows.
Yeah. Yeah. Is he missed? I don't know. But yeah. Besides that, anybody else have anything to say that they want to get off their chest in Millhouse? I don't want to hear about the Cowboys.
Fuck the Cowboys. Something that they lost.
Yeah.
I was gonna say if anyone's mustache, it's gonna be Gentleman Rob.
That's true.
That's a beard. That's a beard.
No, that's a mustache.
His mustache is a two-part deal. He's got the mustache as one part. He's got the beard as a second part, but the mustache comes first.
Yeah, it does stand out. It does stand out.
Yeah, mine when it goes is a beard.
Oh, my bad. Then
and I'll eventually trim
I'll
down
make
the
sure
beard.
to say eyebrows next.
Yeah, you're welcome. There you go. Anyone else have anything prudent they like to talk about or get off their chest?
I would like to hear back from the people listening if they would like to hear a Star Wars Day.
Yeah.
Oops.
Because
that happened. Just
because there's a bunch of us that really like it.
There's
only,
a bunch
only
of
one person who doesn't. But I bet
like
you,
what?
I bet you anything. If they put rock in a Star Wars movie,
I don't know what's going on. We have technical difficulties here at the ROC. What Rob says does not reflect the rest of the ROC. No, probably. We probably will have a Star Wars Day. And then I'll just sit back and listen to you guys just.
You could just shit all over it, though. That'd be great.
No, I don't want to shit on it. I see that it's a bunch of people like. It's like Harry Potter. I can't stand those goddamn movies. My wife loves them.
A bunch of people?
A bunch of people.
Like a lot of people.
Whatever. I don't care about fucking Harry Potter and his wand. Why don't you just break his wand? Why not just break the shit? Never mind. Whatever.
I mean, wrestling is pretty much fake and like, but
whoa.
Hey, we're not gonna wing this episode this much.
Yeah, whoa.
Talking shit about the movies.
Wait, come on. Let's not go that way. Wrestling's all the way fake. It's choreographed to see who's gonna win.
Yeah, they're athletes, but it's still fake.
Yeah. Really? Okay.
How's it fake, Millhouse?
How's it fake? Yes, how is it fake?
Huh?
How's it fake?
How's it fake?
Huh?
The fights are fake. I never said they're not athletes.
Yeah, but okay,
but
you
you're
know
saying
who's going to win.
What is it fake about it?
Everything. The whole fucking thing is scripted.
Yeah, it's scripted.
It's choreographed.
You understand that, right? Like,
I mean, I saw Mick Foley fall from the fucking ceiling onto nails, man. And I'm not even a wrestling fan. I saw that. That shit looked like that hurt.
It did hurt. when he lost a tooth through his fucking lip, or his ear got fucking ripped off by barbed wire. Big Foley's on a whole different category though. He's fucking crazy. But yeah, Drip, nothing. No. Okay. You are listening to the ROC.
Don't you mean the Return of the Critics?
Dude, that's the same thing. Why don't we just
Hey, let's just start the episode already, please.
So since Pretty Rob is here, we will get back to his awesomeness of, I don't know which one this is, so hopefully I did it right, but I don't know. Let's see. Get ready. Get set for the ROC's Pretty Rob's Roast It or Toast to It. There you go.
What's up, ROC fans? This Pretty Rob again. I'm here with the guys. I wanted to talk, and I'm glad to be toasting a movie. I'm going to talk about Train to Busan. A movie came out in July 2016 by director Ying Sang-ho. It is a zombie outbreak, happens in South Korea, and we follow a group that's trying to survive and save as many as they can on a high-speed train to Busan. My review is it's a fast-paced action horror movie from start to finish. The story develops as it goes along. There's no explanation of where the origin happened, why it happened, how the outbreak happened. None of that shit matters. The fact is that zombies are attacking and they're multiplying in fast. They're hitting, as soon as they bite someone, they're starting to transform into a zombie themselves. So we have a group and a family that is on a train to Busan to try to find sanctuary. They are told that the army is there and they're there to protect them. Again, we discover a villain. And the villain, if you think about it, is not the zombies. They're not the zombies in this movie. As much as you would think, hey, the zombies are the bad guy. Yu Song Kim, characters Yeon Sak. He plays and these names are awesome. I'm just going to say that. He plays an executive that is out for himself at all costs. In my eyes, he is the villain. He is the worst thing through this movie. As it develops, as it goes on, as it ends, there's nothing good about him. And again, I'm happy to see where he goes with everything because he is very entertaining. Glad He's Not My Dad Award is the dad in the feature, again, played by Gong Yoo. He does everything with fumbling how to be a dad and not paying attention to his beautiful little girl who is just happy to spend some time with him in this estranged relationship that they have. But again, he has no idea what it takes to be a dad. The hero, in my eyes, is Mai Dong-seok. He also plays Gilgamesh in the Eternals. He does everything he can to save his pregnant wife and the little girl. Not related to him in the movie, but he does everything he could to save this little girl. Again, this movie is very fast-paced. I love the atmosphere. I love the zombies. I love that they multiplied so quickly. It's always moving, constant. You wanted to sit in your chair, buckle down, and get in this movie. I didn't want to go up to pee. I didn't want to get up to go get some popcorn, anything like that. Funny facts. It was made $80.5 million in South Korea, $2.2 million in the US and Canada. Did you hear that? $80.5 million in South Korea, 2.2 in the US and Canada combined. This movie needs to be watched. This movie needs to be told to friends. But why? Why was that? When it was released in the US, it was competing against Captain America, Civil War, The Suicide Squad, X-Men Apocalypse, and Jason Bourne. Again, this movie was just not represented enough in the US, but is definitely representative with the critics. It came out, the next movie that they did was Peninsula. It's the sequel. It happens 4 years later, and it was actually released 4 years later from the movie. Definitely worth checking out. Go watch Train to Busan. It gets my approval. Definitely stamped by the ROC as approved and toasted. Goodbye. We're out.
That's nice.
That was good.
That's good shit. That's nice.
The Peninsula, you said?
Yes.
That's a sequel?
It's a sequel.
Because there is an animated prequel to that too,
Yes.
right? I think that's on Netflix.
Yeah. And Peninsula happens 4 years later. It does. I watched the trailer already. Takes a weird little turn. Has a focus and a focal point. They're actually out for money with the zombie apocalypse happening, and it's their adventure into Bangkok. So again, check it out. Worth watching Train to Busan, and I want to watch the second release as I've dived into this, making sure that we take a look at these movies.
Oh no, I wasn't gonna say anything.
Oh, because you put the mic up to your face like you're gonna say something. So I was
just
like,
getting ready.
I was
in case I
interested.
want to say something.
Oh, go ahead. You want to go ahead?
No, I'm getting ready. In case
Oh,
I
yeah,
want
just
to
in
say
case you want to. Oh,
Building up
you're.
to say
Got
something.
you.
I don't have the
Gotcha.
stand, so I have to hold. the
Oh,
microphone.
okay. You do have a stand.
Yeah, but like I have to be leaning into the table.
Just
Can't
you can
be-
just use that stand then.
Nah, I'm good.
All right.
The director of this movie, didn't he direct a couple other things that were kind of well known?
Yes.
Didn't he do that movie that just won the Academy Awards not too long ago? Gosh, I can't remember the name of it
Yeah,
except
I
for the
can't-
Visitors. No, something like that. And then he also did. Didn't he do a Snowpiercer as well?
I think he was
Snowpiercer
involved in it.
fucking
Yes.
sucked.
Yeah.
What?
The
You don't like
premise. Hold on.
Snowpiercer?
The premise of that movie, just the aesthetic of that movie is awesome.
Okay.
The
But-
acting and just the execution was fucking horrible.
Mm.
It, like seeing that movie was like, oh, that's awesome. That's something I've never seen before. Snowpiercer was a great thought. It just the way it came out and the way it was pushed out was just bad.
Well,
There-
the
They
interesting
did a
thing
show about it, huh?
yeah, the
yeah.
show's way better.
Well, so originally that was a French comic book, is what it was based on.
I didn't know that.
The show is actually a little closer to the actual book because it deals a little bit more with the political things that go
Yeah,
on.
the show's good.
I really liked Snowpiercer movie. I'm gonna give it to you. You're right. Acting wise, maybe not the best, but I like that it's got this kind of comic booky feel where, as you're I know I'm changing subjects, moving to a different movie. But as you're going to the different trains, as you're moving along, like you get into a school, they have
It's class.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then they have like a garden. And,
Yeah, I like that though. It's cool that the people at the back of the people at the back were just like peasants,
Yeah.
and people need to like do whatever. The way they punish people, I put your arm out the fucking thing
Mhm.
and getting it frozen and breaks the fuck off. I'm like, oh, dude, that's fucking awesome. But just the acting and the way that they went the execution of the movie wasn't great. For me, it was wasted.
Mm.
Like you get a great thought, you get a great thing going on, and it's wasted. There are other times where it's like this is off the horror thing, but Mystic River, the way that it was written
Oh, yeah.
initially was not great. It was not good. But you put Sean Penn in that fucking movie, and then
We have Captain America.
Kevin Bacon. Yeah, Captain. He's not a good actor.
You had the chick from Mama.
Chris Evans is not a good.
You had what's her name? Something Twindle. She was
The little white chick.
yeah, the white chick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. You had so many good people in that movie.
But yeah, so getting into we did that. So getting into horror, for me, I want to start with a show, and there are very few shows are horror related right now, and even before. So I'm gonna get into Walking Dead.
Oh.
I personally only seen one episode of The Walking Dead.
Which episode?
The very first episode.
Okay.
When it first came out, I saw the first episode and it didn't hook me. I was like, all right, whatever. And then I believe it was football season was starting. So I just pretty much just like fucking disregard. Like I didn't really care. But most people are just like, Michonne, the chick with the samurai sword,
Yeah.
Grimes and his son. Some people didn't
Carl.
like the Carl, the depiction of the kid.
Mhm.
Only thing I really know about that is the dude who played the Punisher smashed his wife, and she got pregnant by him.
Mhm.
And,
Well, it's debatable.
yeah. So I mean, that's the only thing I know about that. But for like horror, a lot of people say it's scary and shit. So
No, it's not. I'd
I-
say it's more suspense than
I would agree. It's not really
than
scary.
Scary, yeah.
It's suspenseful. So I was a huge fan of the book when I found the book, probably in like maybe 08 or something. I found it like when it was 16 issues in, and I started reading it, and I just fell in love. As far as the show goes, I really liked the show. They definitely changed things. But certain things I didn't like. Yes, I didn't really like Carl later on, just because in the books, Carl is essentially 10 years old through most of the stories, which changes the dynamics. So like in certain scenes where, like, for example, anybody who's familiar with it, when we get into the Negan saga part of the story, there's a scene where Carl comes out of the back of the truck and he just mows down a bunch of Negan's men. And Negan makes a comment of, that gun is almost as big as you. Well, in the comics, the gun is almost as big as him because he's 10 years old. And that's where Negan gets the respect because he's like, you're a badass little 10-year-old. In the show, it doesn't have the same effect because Carl's essentially 16 in that one. And you're like, you're almost a grown person. I feel like Negan wouldn't have tolerated that when they killed you. I think the show should have stopped probably after the Negan saga. I think everything they've been doing since then, although not horrible, isn't really that great. You know, they're doing their own thing. I think what they should have did is stop that show after the Negan saga and then just did spin-offs. Because who doesn't want to see a Daryl spin-off? They could have done that and made zillions of fucking dollars. They could have done spin-offs on all those characters, you know, or wrapped them into the Fear of the Walking Dead.
How did Daryl and his brother get out there? How did that saga start? You know, that was two great characters that could have really gotten an origin story.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You said you watched one episode, but you named like 10 episodes.
Did I? No, I just went off of what people were telling me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is happening, or if I saw something and they were like, oh, this and this, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Cool story, bro. I don't fucking know. Yeah, but like I'm trying to think of other shows that were like horror related. I don't know if you guys ever seen like The Rain.
I have not seen
on
that.
Netflix. It's horror related. It's like The Rain was like killing people, turning people into fucking like zombies and shit. Like,
was it good?
It got to 2 seasons and then got fucking canceled. So,
well, did you like it?
I watched like 2 episodes. It wasn't that great.
Nah, okay.
It was one of those like shows where like they were trying to scare you by doing jump scares. So the person would be sitting there, the music would stop, and you're like, "Oh, someone's gonna jump out right now."
Yeah, you knew what was gonna happen.
Yeah, somebody would pop out. You'd be like, "Yeah, okay, cool, yeah."
Yeah, it was already forecast.
Yeah, and they did a lot of foreshadowing in the show of like what was going on. So you're just like, there was no suspense to a point like, "Oh, this is gonna be a twist." They literally told you that there's a twist.
Well, I think that's what was cool about The Walking Dead too, is that essentially nobody was safe. I mean, they would kill off main characters. That like that's what kind of made the suspense, because you know, in a lot of shows when you have your main characters, you know most of those fuckers are going to survive. But when you have a show where like they kill off the fucking Punisher, like in the 2nd season, or I know you didn't watch the show, and it's spoilers if you haven't watched it, but you probably should have and probably did if you're listening to this. When Rick's wife dies with the baby in her hand, you're like, what the fuck? They just murdered her. You know, there's a lot of cool shit that happens in that show. But it did just kind of draw out too long, and you know, it's based on a comic, so you start to see plot ideas recycled. You know, they get to a new place, they set up, there's a threat, oh shit, we gotta fight it, gotta get out of here, go to a new place, oh shit, there's a threat, we gotta fight it. I mean, I get where it got repetitive. That's why I think it probably should have ended quite a few seasons ago. But I will say, for a long time, that was one of my favorite shows. I'd go home, I'd fucking turn off everything, tell people to shut up, don't call me, just so I could sit there and watch it.
Okay. Rob, you got anything for horror?
TV series I thought about, you know, American Horror Stories was one of the top ones that I think about, you know, right from the get-go.
That shit wasn't scary though. It was fucking weird.
If you're looking for scary, there's very little that scares any of us. You know, there's not, but that goes into that horror comic that just the images, the storylines that they changed with every season, the circus and all those things. The first original season was just creepy as hell. With Zachary Quinto was in it, and the dude dressed up in the latex and all that shit. The circus one I thought was very fantasy type one, but again, it's that horror surprise TV show. You know, what are we going to do? And it was on Channel 4, I think. I want to say it was
7.
Like 4 or 7. It was on Network TV.
How much and how far can they take it with that? But the scare factor, people were freaked out by it. As far as the passing thoughts, do I think they were scared by it? Probably not. But it is worth mentioning in there.
I think they just did some creepy things in there. You know?
Yeah.
Hey, did you ever see Twisty?
What the fuck is Twisty?
We told you to clear out your browser history.
Is he playing with his nipples right now?
What's Twisty, Eddie?
That was a clown.
Oh, from the circus one, right?
Yeah.
Freaks.
You know
I
full
really like
damn well I'm
Freaks.
not watching anything with a fucking clown in it.
That's why I asked you.
Yeah, I know that's why I asked
You're
me,
afraid of
dick.
clowns?
Oh.
I'm not afraid of clowns. I don't like clowns. So it's more or less like I'm afraid of little people.
Really?
Yeah, I'm afraid of little people.
Oh, I love
How are you living
Why are you
with,
laughing at
Eli
us?
Is this
and-
why Eddie's on
and
Zoom
Eddie?
today?
No, I'm just afraid of little people like people that are under 4 feet tall. Freak me out because I had a kid in high school. He was a little person, and he used to hide in shit and scare fucking people.
Oh shit!
So he was aware that he was small, and he just fucking dove into it.
He used to fuck with people.
Dude, he says like, because you know how you sit in lab and they have like the big old
The
like
big tables.
cabinets, or he would hide under that shit or hide in the little cabinet. And then when you like sit down, he'd jump out and grab you and shit. I wanted to pump that little motherfucker across the room. It's just like I don't like that's I'm afraid of little people. Clowns, I just don't like. I can't stand clowns, and it's just like, ugh, dude.
Hey, Bake, this is Twisty.
Oh, thanks, Eddie.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So you'd have loved it then. I used to have I found this little clown doll at a thrift store that was all beat up and kind of just dingy looking, so it was already creepy. So I'd put it on my bookshelf, which was at the end of my bed. Oh fuck yeah! Fuck yeah. How can I pass it up? I got clown paintings all in my house too.
Oh my god!
But I used to put it at the bookshelf that was at the end of my bed. So the girlfriend I had at the time, when she'd wake up in the morning, the creepy clown would be the first thing she'd see.
When I'm at Rob's house to watch movies.
Oh, there's so many more creepy things in my house than just clowns.
That shit just reminded me of fucking like a scary movie where the clown is trying to hump the guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, good god!
Well, speaking of shows, did you have a show by any chance, Mills?
No, but I want to shit on what's that new
You
movie?
say you want to
You wanna
shit?
shit on
shit on that new what is it, Halloween movie that came out?
Halloween
that shit,
Kills, or
yeah, that shit was garbage.
Don't-
Yeah,
bro.
well-
Which one?
The most recent one that came out.
I think we can all agree Halloween 3 Season of the Witch is the best one.
I don't know, but at some point they need to start remaking the fucking shit because that shit.
They
was
did
garbage.
remake it.
No, he means like just like
They need to-
revamp it, like
yeah,
do it,
no,
like
they need
build from the ground
The
up.
Halloween
they need to
franchise
stop
is-
all over.
Oh, there's two more.
Yeah.
They've already said there's two more.
Yeah. No, they need to
The
stop.
Halloween
'cause
franchise is all fucked up, man. There's all sorts of movies that are out of
honestly,
place.
that was
Because that last one is supposed to be the sequel to the original Halloween, even though the original director made a sequel to the original Halloween, which
But
takes
see,
place right
it's so
afterwards.
bad. Like I went to
Forget about all the
premiere,
other.
right? It got so bad that there's some parts of the movie supposed to be like a scary movie, right?
Mhm.
You were laughing through the movie, bro. It's
Yeah, because
so fucking
sometimes
bad.
it's they try so hard, you're just like, what the
yeah,
fuck?
it's
Yeah.
like come on.
Well, they
dude,
just
like,
get caught up in the horror tropes, you know, like you know the jump scares,
Yeah.
the around the corner. I mean, you know, fucking Michael Myers ain't dead when he dies 45 minutes before the movie's over. You know,
Yeah.
he's getting back up 3 times. So it's like you're doing these tropes that we've all seen a bunch of times, and just yeah, I'm with you. It's not
Yeah, that-
scary.
that
It's
was-
not suspenseful.
yeah, it's more of a
Well,
comedy horror
yeah.
movie, honestly.
So it's
And just the way that he kills people, it was like
I haven't
know,
seen it, but I had no
um,
desire to see it. I
yeah.
just
don't watch it. It's
I
not
think the
worth your
last
time.
one,
You're
yeah.
gonna
last
save an
Halloween I
hour.
saw was like besides the Rob Zombie was H2O, and then yeah, I was
Yeah,
I was
no.
good with that.
yeah
Well,
for me when I was looking at it, like what's that fucking movie? What's the one with John Krasinski?
Oh, where they have to keep quiet, right?
Yeah, was it Quiet Place? Quiet
Quiet
Place.
Place. Yeah.
So the first one was good. It was something you hadn't ever seen before. It was good. It was great. It played well. Second one was fucking bad.
I still haven't seen the second.
They tried to jump scare the shit out of you in that movie.
Well, I think that what made the first one kind of scary too was you didn't actually see the monsters for most of it.
Yeah,
You know, I think at the very end.
yeah, but in that movie, like when you were watching the movie, when a movie takes you into it where you want to be quiet, like you feel like if you say something, you're fucking up the people in the movie, so you're quiet. But then the second movie is like, hey, let's jump scare. Let's play the music and then slow the music down when something's about to happen. Like almost every single time something happened, they slowed the music down. And you're sitting there like, what the fuck? There is a movie, I can't remember the name of it right now, and that sucks. It's the white dude, he's blind. He some girl tries to break into his house.
Oh yeah, I see. Or
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that movie was fucking scary
Yeah.
because he was blind. Most of the movie was quiet because obviously he's just feeling around what's around him. And I can't remember the name of it. I know you went to go see the second one, right?
Don't breathe.
Don't
Don't
breathe.
breathe.
That's what it was.
First one was great when she like took his jizz and fucking put it in his mouth
Yeah.
and fucking like
Yeah, the first
That's-
one was good. The second
Yeah.
one was kind of like,
yeah, because it made him into a fucking hero,
yeah.
which is
so-
weird. The dude who was raping somebody, who had kept somebody, kidnapped somebody, and was gonna do it again, is now your hero. It
Yeah,
makes
that was some BS.
yeah,
honestly.
because they couldn't do anything with it. Like you wanted to do a sequel to it, we can't have somebody else break into his house. You
What I-
can't. It's just bad.
They could have done like the origin of how he
Yeah,
ended
you
up
see,
like that.
How,
You
how he
could've
lost
done
the
that.
sight.
And he lost his sight. How like what happened to his
how
daughter?
how he ended up like so fucked up. Well,
His daughter.
They do know in the second one they do come out with like what happened to the daughter. And
Yeah,
stuff
but
like
you
that,
could have just used the whole movie to do that, and his little turn into like madness.
Yeah.
Like someone's turn into madness is awesome to see, just because everybody has their different pushing point.
So you think maybe like the second one should have been maybe he was the hero defending his daughter, but then towards the end you see where he twists into the bad guy, which leads into the next one.
Yeah, because his daughter
that
gets,
sounds like a way better idea.
Yeah, his daughter gets killed by a drunk driver, and it's the girl that he kidnaps in the first movie and holds her on behind her will, and then says he's not a rapist, and jizzes in a turkey baster and tries to get her pregnant by putting it inside of her. And at the end of the movie, another girl he's trying to stop because he tries to break into his house.
Mm-hmm.
She tries to stop her. She fights him off, which is weird because she's fucking small. It makes no fucking sense of how she's stronger than him.
He is blind.
Well, yeah.
Well,
so is Daredevil.
They try to like play with the movie. Is he's supposed to be like a military veteran?
Yeah, he's ex-vet. So
like
even add to that, he's an ex fucking Navy SEAL. So you know what I mean? Like he's trained. Even blind can fucking fuck you up. And this little girl who's the size of like Eli is like fucking.
Because he's not here, huh?
Yeah, even if he was here, I'd still fucking do it.
We know.
He didn't say Eddie.
Yeah, I didn't say Eddie. But she ends up getting him and tying him down, and then puts the turkey baster with all his jizz in it, puts it in his mouth, opens his nose, and fucking squeezes that shit in his mouth.
Paid people to do that.
Oh my god!
It was mayonnaise at the time.
Yeah,
at least the first time.
Go ahead, Rob.
So
that's about right.
Talking about this movie, it brought up another movie that I didn't even have written down, but it was on Netflix. It was called Hush. It was about a girl author who lives in a house. It's all set up, but she can't hear. And it's a guy who terrorizes her. He circles the house, tries to find ways to get in, tries to get past everything. Awesome movie that was on Netflix. And this conversation just totally reminded me of that. You know, how they combated back and forth, but it was exciting from start to finish. And I think those exciting horror movies, even though they might not be scary, if you put yourself in that element where you are blind or you can't hear, how do you respond to something? How do you respond to a situation, and how do you act out on that? And you know, how did you guys get to see that movie, or have you heard of that movie?
I haven't seen it.
I know it. I haven't gotten around to watching it, but yeah, I've passed it up a few times.
Yeah.
It looked interesting.
Yeah, definitely along this lines of the conversation that we're having. I think it's two different spectrums with the gentleman that can't see and her that can't hear, and how they reacted and how they responded to the situation. Very exciting movie. If you haven't caught it, Hush.
I did want to go back to series, if we could, real quick, because there's a series on Netflix that I don't think is completed. There's only 2 seasons, and I don't know if you'd call it horror, but it's called Mindhunters. And what the premise is it's the FBI developing their behavioral science, basically coming with ways to profile serial killers. But it's in the very beginning when they're just starting to do it. And it's not gory. There's not a lot. It's kind of a slow paced show, but it's verbally gory because they're talking to in the show, they're talking to serial killers. They're interviewing them, but these are real serial killers. And the interviews they have are based on real conversations the FBI had with them. So the first one they talked to is Edmund Kemper, which, if you don't know, was called the co-ed killer. He was in Santa Cruz, I think, in the 70s. And short is he ended up getting out of an asylum after killing his grandparents. He lived with his mother, and he would go around, pick up hitchhiking girls, cut off their heads, then have sex with the bodies, sometimes still drive around with the bodies for a while, then dispose of them. And I think he killed like 19. But what's disturbing is when he's doing the interviews, he is just super candid about everything. He talks about killing his mother, fucking her throat after he killed her in graphic detail. And then they talk to other serial killers and whatnot. If you haven't seen the show, I highly recommend it. If you are interested in like true crime type stuff at all, it is a very entertaining show. It'll suck you in. Again, it's not visually violent. It's not visually gory, but the descriptions that these guys go into, and they interview a bunch of serial murderers, it is disturbing. I actually even went and watched actual interviews with like Edmund Kemper and stuff. And that's how he acts in the show. The actor that portrays him is pretty much how he seemed to be in the interviews of the real guy that I saw. So,
what is it called again?
Mindhunters.
Mindhunters.
Go ahead.
David Fincher does that show, and I thought it was incredible to see. I definitely liked Mindhunters. I'm looking forward to if they ever do a season 3. the part where they go through Charles Manson, sitting with him, having the conversation, and going back to create the behavioral sciences unit that the FBI now has. This is the groundwork. This is them breaking ground to put it all together, and how people never believed this could be possible, never believed that they had trends or they could actually profile people. If you're into true crime, I love true crime. So this was edge of your seat. I was stuck watching this over and over again.
Yeah.
Would you guys consider Squid Games like a horror series?
It reminds me of Battle Royale a lot,
Yeah.
which I mean, I think can kind of blend into horror in a way. I would call it probably more suspense from my perspective, but I mean, yeah, I was definitely in. And like I said, it reminded me of Battle Royale, which I think is one of the greatest movies ever too. So I loved it.
Well, for me, it's kind of like, well, it's not that the show scared me. It's more like, it's kind of terrifying. Like the
concept
and what people will do in order to like get rich and get money, like how far they're
willing to go.
Yeah,
well, that's what I said. Like, that's why I love the horror genre so much, because horror doesn't necessarily need to be a monster or a guy with a razor fingers or an axe. It could be anything that fucks with your mind that just shows you the depravity of people and how far they'll go. And I think sometimes those types of movies are way more disturbing than, the Michael Myers or Freddy Jason type films, because especially when they're doing real people, that could be doing real shit. Like, that's fucking terrifying.
Yep.
And that's the thing that I think I was talking to Rob about, is like, we talk about like, Freddy with the fucking claws, or we talk about Jason with his machete, or Michael Myers that, you shoot him and he won't die. But when you start talking about things that are like, this can actually happen, and then I think that's where it mind fuck you. Like, it's like, what the fuck? Like, that can actually happen. And I think that's where it gets us more like intrigued. And it's like, dude, that could be my fucking neighbor that can be doing all that shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially so often with the true crime, and like Mindhunters dives into, all these people are real. All the characters are real based on interviews, again, just like Gentleman Rob said, where you're just like, these people led normal lives at some point, and they could be my neighbor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Eddie, do you have a movie?
I don't know if you guys remember watching this. I think they used to show this on, I think it was Fox. Tales from the Crypt.
Oh yeah.
I got that on my list.
Thanks for the ride, lady. Yeah.
I remember watching Demon Knight.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you guys remember that one.
Yep.
But it was so funny because it was supposed to be kind of like kind of scary horror, but at the same time it was kind of like funny, and you had almost like naked women and shit, because it was taboo, because it was at fucking 11:30 at night and shit. But it also had kind of like that whole kind of like scary kind of effect to it because of the Crypt Creeper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are all based on the old EC comics. Tales from the Crypt, and there's like 3 lines that were out before they introduced the comic code, which basically ended those companies. But yeah, that's where a lot of the stories from that show and from the movie came from the original books. And just to kind of edit, Thanks for the Ride is Creepshow 2, just so you know.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, boom.
Good thing we have somebody to correct us.
No, because that's when I was a kid. I remember watching that one.
Yeah,
it creeped me the fuck out, dude.
Because she finally gets into the garage and he pulls out a Thanks for the Ride, lady.
Yeah, it was fucking thanks for that. That's not gonna fucking help me later.
You're welcome.
Fuck.
Yeah. But if we can, I would like to bring up some of my favorite horror movies that were scary, but like kind of comical, right? Mm-hmm. Creepshow and Creepshow 2, definitely in there. One of my personal favorites, I don't know if anybody's seen it, but one of Peter Jackson's early films called Dead Alive. It's essentially kind of a zombie movie. It starts off with these sailors. They go to this island. They find this rat. It bites one of them. They turn into they bring it back. It bites our main character's grandmother. She turns into a zombie. And then you kind of need to see the movie, but it is chock full of great one-liners that will have you sick to your stomach and laughing your ass off at the same time. My personal favorite is when He goes to our main character goes to a cemetery. He's trying to get rid of a body, and the priest comes out, and zombies start riding up. And the priest, who happens to know kung fu, best line in the world, I kick ass for the Lord, as he's kung fuing all these zombies. It's fucking genius.
Dude, you know what's so funny about that, dude? Like I was looking it up, and I remember seeing this at the video store. It's the portrait is a girl like opening up her mouth, and there's like a small skeleton in her mouth, right?
Yep, zombie coming out of her mouth. Yep.
Yeah. I remember seeing that. And I was like, yeah, I probably can't watch that.
Oh no, you should definitely watch it. Like it's got some really disgusting parts, so it's gory. But it is definitely over. It's got a very comedic feel to it. There's things where you're gonna be like, "That's disgusting," but again, you're gonna be laughing your ass off. Like when the grandmother finally turns into a zombie and she eats the love interest dog. Oh, your grandmother ate my dog. Like it's just got so many fucking scenes. You're like, what the fuck is this? It's a great film. Great film.
Another one for me is Quarantine.
Quarantine. Okay, yeah.
The first one where they're in the building. You never seen it? It's fucking crazy because like something's happening upstairs, but you don't know what's happening upstairs. Like, and then they, no, not that. Okay. No, but there's an old lady just upstairs sitting in a fucking chair.
Something's happening.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that the one with Dexter's sister?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the people are there's an old lady upstairs, and she's like has blood all over her face, and you don't know what the fuck is going on. And like the EMTs are there, but they won't let anyone out, and you don't know what the fuck is going on because they don't explain anything. And there's like I think like 3 couples. There's this douchey dude there's always a fucking douchey dude. There's this little scared guy, and then there's Dexter's sister. I forgot her fucking name, but she's there too. And then they go upstairs. The grandma like fucking like whips her head around real fucking quick and like runs, and it freaks you the fuck out because it's quiet. There's no music. There's no like it slows down. It's freaking. Essentially, what it is, it's zombie rabies. Mm-hmm. And at one point when she's trying to get out of the building, she goes upstairs. She's like trying to get through and find a way up to the roof to get down. And you see some naked, pale thing that kind of looks like, if you ever seen The Time Machine, mm-hmm. With the movie with Guy Pearce, it looks like the big fucking white walker thing. It looks like that walking across the thing, and it has like fucking like it's her in the dark. So you're seeing from her view of not being able to see anything, but it's that thing turning on her fucking eyes. The whole movie is fucking freaky. It was a really small budget, but it sucks that the movie didn't get that much fucking shine. But the movie was really scary. It was really awesome. The second one was straight fucking dog shit. They did it on a fucking plane. It made no fucking sense. The premise of it was just nobody from the first movie was in the second movie. It was like, hey, these 2 different things happened. And then they put the timeline at the same time that was happening. What?
They were doing it at the same time, supposedly?
Yeah. So how is somebody like doing something in their basement, but then that person who has no connection to someone else is also doing it and has it in their luggage on a fucking plane? And it just so happened that something leaked out on somebody. It's just fucking dumb. But the first one.
It was snakes. It was snakes on the plane.
Snakes on the motherfucking plane.
But yeah, if no one's seen Quarantine, you should see it. It's fucking awesome. It's great. It's very low budget, but the premise and the way they go about stuff is really good. There's no jump scare. Shit just freaks you out because it's fucking freaky. So
nice.
So I want to jump in and I know we're going to talk about some modern movies and what's recent in the last 20 years. And me and Eddie were talking about it, and I want to take it back. I want to take it back to one of the first horror movies or scary movies I ever saw. It was American Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
This movie was in 1981. Just an awesome movie for the time being. Just 2 guys backpacking through London and going through it and figuring out, hey, they're werewolves. The town is okay with feeding these guys to the werewolves and just saying, hey, go survive. But if you followed that movie and watched that movie, it's very entertaining. For 1981, the graphics were awesome. What they did for special effects and the rewatchability is there. And literally, Bad Moon Arising from Creedence Clearwater Revival plays in that movie. And every time I hear that song, I think of American Werewolf in London. Just an awesome 1981 movie. And again, that's taking it back, 50, 30, 40 years. And just an awesome movie.
I think John Landis directed that.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, that's a great one too. You know what's funny about that movie is when I watched it as a kid, it was scary. And then when I got a little older, watched it, like I got all the jokes that are in it.
Exactly.
There's a lot of humor in that one too. My favorite thing, and not to spoil anything, but like I like that we don't get the happy ending.
Yep.
Right. Like, yeah. I like that movie. Did you ever see the sequel, Werewolf in Paris?
Yes.
So sorry for you.
Yeah,
so sorry.
But you also wanted to watch Jiu-Jitsu, so I feel sorry.
I only made it about halfway through.
Exactly.
Oh, you made it halfway through?
The thing that
Dude,
sucked.
I tried. I swear I tried.
That's why
I got 11 minutes and like 30 seconds in, and I put a timer too to see how long. And I was like, okay, there. Oh yeah, 11 minutes. I'm done.
I like the Tony Jaa scene in the beginning when he's going through the camp and he's kicking everybody's ass, but it goes on for like way too long. It's like an 8-minute scene. The way you described it though, it sounded so bad that it was going to be good. And like the thing that sucked about it more than anything else, it was just boring.
Yeah.
It's just it could have been, if they would have just made it more over the top, I think it would have been awesome. But yeah, that movie sucked.
Yeah. ROC fans, I am really not going to steer you wrong. Don't go against what I say when I roast a movie. Okay, when it's roasted, put that on the list. I don't want to watch it. Don't be like the gentleman and dive right in.
Yeah, but that's like saying, dude, this smells really bad. Like, you don't want to smell it,
but you're gonna smell it.
Smell it.
It's like if somebody is just like, oh, here's my finger. You're like, no, and then no one else is around. You're like, fuck it, I'll smell it.
Let me see what it smells like.
Hey,
It can't be that bad.
What?
you guys remember watching Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
The fuck? Why do you keep bringing up clowns?
Oh, I got a clown movie for you.
What the fuck, Eddie? You just one after another, just laughing and shit. Let me bring up one clown movie, another clown movie.
Yeah, but that movie's more of a comedy than anything else.
I just threw out one page on my list.
It's all clowns and shit. It's all clowns.
Dude,
It's just
that movie
clowns.
was so fucking hilarious, dude. Like, oh god, dude. You never watched it?
But you're talking about like when they shoot the cotton candy out of their guns?
What?
Yeah, he loves it, but it's not good. It's a great like throw on
Just
the
look.
background.
Emil just looked. He's just look. He's just looking at it right now.
Yeah.
I don't see myself looking at that. But
If you want to watch a creepy clown.
Yeah, go to
movie,
the real. That's
not it. Is you gotta watch Terrifier. Terrifier is the premise of these two girls coming home from a Halloween party. They're a little drunk. They're trying to get home, and this creepy kind of mime clown is kind of following them around, and then he kidnaps one of them, and then it just gets bloody and fucking gory and horrific. Oh, so good, so good. They're supposed to be making a part 2. I can't wait to see it.
Okay.
that shit.
One thing I'll say about it, when I was a little kid,
Fuck
it
more
was,
clowns.
No,
God damn.
No,
All right,
I'm
go
just
ahead.
gonna like add to what
Hey,
you were saying. It used to be like terrifying when I was little, but as I got older, I'm like if I see you now, like I probably beat the shit out of the clown, you know? Like,
Yeah, now as an adult, yeah.
but,
No.
Hey,
So
Paige,
but
Paige,
at the beginning, like when I was, go ahead.
What?
Tell your story about Not Scary Farm.
I think people have seen the one I knocked off the dude that was dressed as a clown. Yeah, it wasn't smart for that fucking
But
dude.
yeah, like as a kid, yeah, kind of like even me, I was afraid of the clown, but as I got older, I got over it. It's kind of like okay.
So when I watched the TV series, the TV one, when I was a kid, like I thought that was scary, and then watching it later on, like before the new movie came out, I was like, ah, damn, this is bad. But I still thought the most recent the part 1, I thought that was still fucking scary, man. That clown's fucking creeped the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
And that was him
Yeah.
with his eyes and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
That was him.
I don't know. I
Skarsgård-
didn't like
Skarsgård did
the
awesome.
remake.
Yeah.
I still think that the first one with Tim Curry, like it took me a long time to find out that it was actually Tim Curry that was playing the fucking clown.
Yeah, Tim Curry playing the clown was scary. The movie wasn't.
Yeah.
The clown itself is
The Pennywise movie, the newer one, it is scary and the clown's scary. So they got both of them together good.
Really?
The
You thought
first
it was
movie-
scary? I didn't
Well,
think
no,
so.
I'm talking about if you're doing it, it's the audience that you're going for.
Yeah.
It's people
Well,
that don't like horror movies but like to be scared. You have to
And
look
you
at the
have to-
audience of what it's like watching anime. If you have that low turn anime where it's kind of like anime, like Seven Deadly Sins is really turned down anime.
Yeah.
It's easy for other people who are just getting into it to see it, and it's awesome and they like it, right? It helps them. It's building steps to what you're gonna eventually get to, like Berserk and other shit, right? It's just like the same thing with It's more or less like it's building blocks to other shit. Like It's fucking like The Conjuring. You don't start somebody out on the fucking Conjuring.
Oh yeah, you
They're,
do.
they're
Yeah,
fucking done.
I agree. Yeah, you do.
No, but you do because you guys are sick fucking bastards. That's why.
Help them along.
That's my point.
You start them off with Sinister or something
What?
like that. You know.
Well, right, but the thing is that you have to remember that it was actually a book that Stephen King wrote. So you have to go based on like, actually reading the book, because a lot of people
actually read the book.
Reading the actual book.
Did you
now
read it?
remember when you read a book, your mind is going.
Hey, you read it.
Your mind is going somewhere, and then you give somebody to actually direct it. It's like, oh, you just fucked up because this is not what I envisioned in my head. So that's where it kind of fucks it up. Same thing with Christine. Christine was an okay movie, but if you read the book,
the book is good.
That was fucking awesome.
Yeah, the movie was shit.
Yeah, but the books are look. Anybody who reads a book and watches a movie will always agree the book is better, and for exactly what you're saying, Eddie, because you get to put everything's in your mind. You're creating the scariness. You're making it as creepy as you can for yourself based on the descriptions you're getting. And then yes, when you see a movie based on something that you've read, you're getting a different person's interpretation of it, and usually it will fall flat because you're like,
but see,
I'm
gonna say something about that. It's like, people are never satisfied, because I recently went to see Dune, the movie from the books, and people were complaining about, oh, this movie's too long. I can't believe they're gonna cut it in 2 parts and shit. And it's like, bro, you guys are never fucking satisfied with nothing.
Yeah, because if you don't try to fit everything, everything in Dune,
anything,
it would have sucked.
One,
it would have sucked.
They're gonna say it sucks.
Yeah.
If they don't put everything, if they put everything on it and they make it, like the Twilight movies that they did, like the ending in 2 parts.
Yeah.
Oh, they're too fucking long. It's like you guys are never satisfied.
Well, I'll tell you,
I hate that about book people, honestly.
The next person that complains about Dune, tell them to go watch the David Lynch one from the 80s. That's the whole book in one movie.
Yeah.
They can hate that.
Right. Yeah. No, I thought I haven't even read the book.
No, but good. The new,
long,
the book's long, and the new movie is the way it was supposed to go. Is the way it was supposed to go.
But I thought the movie was pretty good.
It was good,
even though I haven't I don't know anything about the book. It caught my attention that I want the next one to come out. Right?
Yeah.
No. It's basically the basis for Star Wars.
Really quick, Rob. I know you have the book.
Classify which Rob.
Right.
There's 2 Robs here.
There's a
Gentleman
pretty and a gentleman.
There's a gentleman and a pretty one.
Like when we say
Pretty
vertically
one,
challenged
pretty
guy,
one.
we're like, hey.
I didn't want to talk to you anyways.
I know you have the book Ready Player One, and you read the book and you saw the movie. What were your thoughts on that?
Again, that's just exactly what we talked about. That the movie doesn't hold up to the book.
I was gonna say, keep the spoilers in the middle. I'm about 2/3 of the way through the book. I just haven't finished it yet.
Oh, okay.
Book is awesome.
Yeah, the book's been great.
Continue reading the book. It's awesome. But there are movies that you can name that just are like that. If you jump into things that Beige hates, like clowns or Harry Potter, Goblet of Fire is probably one of the best books written, but translated to a movie, it could have been 2 to 3 movies. You have things like Christine, you have things like The Shining, all Stephen King movies that translated really poorly. If the author didn't like it or the audience didn't like it, it's very challenging to get everything and all the details. Ready Player One is one of those. There's so much nostalgia tied into a movie that was crammed into 2 hours. That's tough for us to do. It really is. There's hardly a book that translates over to a movie and you're just like, damn, that held true to the book.
Well, with the Ready Player One, the book is the game essentially. Like you are trying to figure everything out while you're reading too.
Oh yeah,
and that's the part while I'm reading. I'm like, that's how I already know that movie's going to be garbage. Just because I'm like, there's no way they can translate this into the movie. It's just going to be, and I haven't seen the movie, but I'm guaranteeing the movie is just here's 80s stuff for you. If you're old, there's more 80s stuff. You recognize this, recognize that.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a DeLorean, here's a Ghostbusters.
It's I thought you said you never watched it.
I didn't. I'm reading the book.
You're reading the book. This is way off of horror.
Yeah.
But so when you guys sat there and said like you start something off on Conjuring, you start
remember this is the podcast of tangents.
No, but when you say you start somebody off on Conjuring, you don't start somebody off in Sinister. You don't start something off on Sinister.
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't,
yeah,
dude. That'll kill somebody's one.
My 5-year-old nephew watch it with me.
You made your 5-year-old nephew watch Sinister? What the fuck is wrong with you, bro?
Wow.
He likes watching that shit. I
Yeah,
don't know
dude.
how,
That's.
Look, I gotta. When I was a
No,
kid,
but some kids are built that way. The emotional
damage.
damage.
How this fool he'd be like putting horror movies in the house. They got the house. I'm like, dude, what are you watching?
Yeah, but
By
some
yourself.
kids are built like that though. Some people are built like that where they can sustain that shit
So
and they're
see,
perfectly fine.
I wanted to test them. I was like, all right, you want to watch a scary movie? He's like, all right, okay. I throw in like Sinister. Yeah, he made it through it.
I don't know.
You can make it through it, just freaks you the fuck out.
If
I
you-
mean, we watched it during the day too.
Oh
so-
yeah,
that
okay.
doesn't
Yeah, that doesn't count.
You made it fucking PG.
No, you're not a complete dick.
Yeah.
You're not a complete
Yeah,
dick.
I
All
was-
right, got
yeah.
you. Watch that shit at night at like 11 o'clock at night and just close everything.
Kill all the lights, shut the doors, watch it in
Yeah.
the dark. Yeah, that movie has a different feel. You know, but I'm just kind of tapping on my saying. When I was if you go back to listen to some of the old ROC podcasts that I'm on, where I talk about movies and things that I was allowed to watch and not allowed as a kid, my parents rented me all sorts of horror movies.
So they wouldn't let you watch Married with Children, right?
They would not let me
Yeah.
watch Married with Children. I could watch. They would pick out any horror movie. I remember the one that freaked me out the most that I didn't make it through when I was a kid was a House by the Cemetery. And I still to this day haven't seen it. I'd watch it now, but when I was a kid, dude, it freaked me the fuck out because it starts off with somebody getting murdered by the cemetery.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Like
No,
I love horror films. Like
Yeah.
that kid
Raised
is
on it.
weird, bro. That kid is
No.
weird.
I like horror too, and it's awesome. I do like horror movies, but it's just more of a point. Like there's certain, for me, it's gradual steps for certain people to be able to watch certain shit. Because if you don't, it kind of kills your buzz on wanting to watch it because the person doesn't want to watch it anymore. You could bust someone's cherry on a horror movie, and then they just are never the same. They don't want to fuck with it anymore.
Yeah. So you're gonna teach a kid how to swim, throw him in the deep end.
John Wayne. Oh, you're not a swim? Ah, there you go. Threw the mom in there too. Isn't this nice? Good shit.
Sweet guy.
I mean, for which would be the deep end for Eli and Eddie?
3 feet.
Eddie's picked nothing but PG horror films. I just like to point out it's all been PG horror films.
Eddie has to he has to dip his toe in the water first to be able to get his leg in there.
He's got a floaty on while he's dipping his toe in.
I'm gonna jump in on this because I know Gentleman Robert reached out to some of the older movies and especially me growing up. The Omen was one of those movies that you're just like, holy crap!
Oh, yeah.
Intense to watch. Richard Donner did a great job. He did a great job in ruining the name Damien for anyone that wants to name their kid Damien.
That kid was a
definitely.
fucking freak, dude.
Yeah, Ed O'Neill or the guy from Jurassic Park. Is it? No, not Ed O'Neill.
No, it's not Ed O'Neill.
It's Neil.
You're talking about he was in To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yes.
It's gosh, he does so many wholesome family things, and then they put him in the freaking The Omen.
The Omen after, and again, this movie was awesome to watch. If you
Gregory
not
Peck.
se- yes, Gregory Peck.
I didn't even have to look it up. I'm
yeah.
proud of myself.
Yep.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
But again, the Omen was one of those Children of the Corn back in the day.
That was
You were
freaky
just
as a kid.
freaky. This little village of little kids staring at you with their blue eyes and shit, and then they turn red. And yeah, freaking freaky movie. Eli joined the podcast. Now
Hi,
he's jumping
Eli.
right in.
Hi, y'all.
And I want to bring a topic that's going to be favorable to Eli.
Oh,
The Universal monsters. Let's go back, and I like the old movies. So again, I wanted to start off with the Frankenstein, Dracula, Creature from the Black Lagoon, The Mummy, the Wolfman, The Invisible Man, Phantom of the Opera. You're talking Boris Karloff, you're talking Bela Lugosi, Claude Rains, and Lon Chaney and Lon Chaney Jr. Those movies were awesome, and they need to be respected as the originals. The Universal monster movies are classics, but I know that Eli wants to jump in on this, so I'm going to kick it to Eli.
so what's up, y'all? I'm finally here. Sorry I was late. I was working, but
All right. This is the end of the episode. Thank you guys for.
Thank you. Good night.
that was great. Did I tell you how much I miss you, Eddie? No, no, I did not. Anyways, so what were we at? Oh yeah, so the Universal. Yeah, so I do like the classic horror films, and then one of them that I don't think it's part of the Universal, but the Portrait of Dorian Gray. So that's one of the ones I actually just watched that the other day with my mom. But I watched the classic one, and then they try to redo it again. I think in like the 2000s. I don't remember the actor. I just remember he was in the Prince of Narnia. The Narnia, the Chronicles of Narnia, whatever that series. He was the prince or something, Prince Caspian or whatever. But for me, I grew up on the classic films. But a funny story about like horror, my cousin Michelle, she loves horror. She was one of those girls that she watched the Halloweens. She saw the Freddy Krueger. She saw Chucky. She saw all of them, and she actually loved watching it when she was a kid. My brother and I, we were little weenies. We're like, no thanks. when we got in high school, there was a movie that she wanted us to watch together. It was called Dead Silence. It was
the puppet, right?
The puppet one.
The ventriloquist one, right?
The ventriloquist one, right? So it was the one that had like the pop scares. Is that what they call it? The pop scares?
Jump scares.
Jump scares. Excuse me, the jump scares. And my cousin Michelle was watching it one day. She's like, "Hey, let's start it over. We could all watch it." It was actually at night. It was her, my brother, and my cousin Michelle. And I didn't know that she knew the film front and back. And every single time that there was that jump scare, she knew exactly how to scare my brother. So it was exactly the what happened with Beige said the other day, like when we were watching The Conjuring. So at just the right moments, we were freaking out. We see my brother and I holding the pillow where our faces are turning pale. And the worst part of it all is, like, I think I shared it before with our previous episodes, is that we had horrible experiences with dolls. My sister had like the American Dream Girl dolls, like the ones that had like the little stands, and when they laid down, their eyes were closed.
Yep.
Yeah, she had a collection of those.
Your
shit.
sister had these, huh?
Yes, she did.
I'm noticing a trend with these stories too.
What's up? The dolls.
Hey, I'm telling you, I was scared shitless with these dolls. And
You had any kind of dolls?
me?
Yeah.
I don't have dolls. I have action figures. There's a difference, my friend.
Barbie action figure. I got a Ken action figure. I got Barbie's cousin action figure. The Corvettes. I got it all. All the action figures.
I got the Ken astronaut.
the Dreamhouse headquarters. All the badass shit.
You're forgetting.
Batteries not included.
Hey, you guys are forgetting. Limited edition is still in box.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, before we jump off of it, and I want to again pay tribute to Universal Monsters as the influence it had. We'll talk about the Brandon Fraser series of The Mummy, which kicked off the ROC's. Like, oh no, we won't talk about his acting in Scorpion King. Oh my God! Here comes Beige. Here comes Beige.
Tell us how good the Scorpion King is.
Beige is gonna say
Emotional damage.
Okay, I can say stuff about The Rock when movies aren't good.
He trash.
In the movie, yeah, that movie is bad. Toothbrush, that movie is fucking bad. So I'm saying I can say when The Rock bad in the movie. I just don't appreciate when someone says Jungle Cruise was shit. And it wasn't. Pretty wild.
It was shit. It was,
You know, I'm
shit.
gonna go home and watch fucking Jungle Cruise tonight.
It was
I
shit.
gotta see
It
this
was pretty
movie.
shit.
It was shit. Whatever.
We're
Go
talking
ahead.
about horrors.
I
We're
digress.
talking about horrors.
We digress.
I am talking about horrors. Those movies with The Rock were fucking horrible. Shit. Okay, is there a bad horror movie, like not
Yes,
bad,
I'm
like
about-
funny, but bad, like you're just like fuck, man.
Oh, that's where I'm going with this.
Okay, good.
So again, with the Universal Monsters, terrible remakes. The Mummy, not
There you
the
go.
Brandon Fraser one, the Tom Cruise one.
Oh yeah, that was.
Oh,
That chick is fucking hot though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That French chick,
Whoopty shit.
she's fucking
You
hot.
can't watch the movie, then it doesn't matter.
I can watch her in the movie.
You're gonna just put on silence and fast forward to her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I did.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
That's what I
What
did.
just made it creepy.
Yeah.
So don't judge me.
Speaking
Oh,
of
it's no
the
judgment. I'm just saying it's creepy.
speaking of the hot chick that didn't make the movie, Van Helsing. With
Oh, I
Hugh
was gonna say that
Jackman.
one.
Hugh Jackman, yeah.
Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah.
Super hot.
Oh.
Can't save that movie.
I like that.
Really,
one.
you don't like that?
Yeah.
It's fun to watch.
It's-
you know,
yeah.
it's entertaining, but
It's like
is
a
it-
PG action horror film.
What about the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
God, don't even bring
Movies
that
are
up.
fucking horrible.
I thought you were gonna bring that up with Dorian Gray.
What about Monster Squad? You guys remember Monster Squad?
Monster Squad's awesome.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That
Super
was good.
fun. Same kind of. I feel like that. I feel like Van Helsing was in that line. Except the kids that watched Monster Squad as they get a little older, now you have a Van Helsing that's a little bit more adult. You know.
See,
right.
But I
see,
thought the movie was super fun.
I think Monster
Hey,
Squad was more of the spoof monster film that paid tribute to the Universal Monsters
Saturday
and
the
played with it.
14th.
Yeah. But again, good point. But again, I thought it was very
What
playful
about,
and entertaining. Go ahead, Ed.
You guys remember the Wicker Man?
The which one?
Which one?
The Christopher Lee or the
Or the Nicolas Cage one?
Did you say Nicolas Cage?
Nicolas Cage?
Jiu-Jitsu.
The Wicker Man. That Wicker Man was fucking horrible.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
He's like a Wicker Man protector.
Yeah, it was.
That one really. Oh.
We are talking about the Nicolas Cage one, right?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one.
There you go.
Did you ever see the original, Eddie?
No.
Okay.
What's wrong, man?
The original one, good.
I mean, it's essentially the same thing. It's a little bit more British, so I feel like the original one's a little slower paced, but I think that kind of gives you a better payoff at the end. And then you got Christopher Lee in it, and Christopher Lee is just fucking amazing. Yeah. So you're never gonna go wrong with that. You know, he's always creepy and weird.
I think of another like horrible scary movie I tried.
I got one. I talked about it not so long ago. Was that fucking one day the James Wan one that came out on fucking HBO? Which I can't read that because I'm blind.
Not that it's too far, it's because I'm blind.
Yeah. The Wolfman with Benicio del Toro.
Oh, I didn't hate that.
So that's what I wanted to. It's in my neutral area, but I wanted to hear what everyone had to say about it because again, it's popular, paid tribute to Universal monsters, but not well received.
I felt it was. So it had been a long time since I seen the original Wolfman, but I felt like it followed that storyline pretty well. And again, like it was one of those that we don't get the happy ending. So I like that. I didn't think it was bad. I know it was not well received. I know it got shit on a lot. I thought it was good. The way it was shot and the colors in it were very kind of drab. So it wasn't black and white, but it kind of almost had that feel to it. I felt like it kind of made it creepier. I really enjoyed that film. It's not something I go back to a lot, but if I happen to be flipping around and it's on, I'll watch it for a little while from wherever it's at.
Yeah, I have it on DVD.
Same here.
See No Evil.
See No Evil. I know that one.
That's the one with Kane.
That is the one with Kane. They tried to turn Kane into like Michael Myers.
Yeah,
and it did not work. Kane is a scary looking individual. And he is like 6'10" and like 320 pounds, and he does look scary. But the fucking acting in this movie was so horrible.
So Malignant was the movie that I was trying to.
Yeah, but it was bad.
That's so bad.
But See No Evil was horrible, and they made 3 of them. Oh, so just it's like, oh, we made a shit movie. What are you gonna do next? Let's make another one.
You know, it made money. That's why they.
No, it didn't. One. It didn't make any money.
Lost money.
Yeah, it went straight to DVD.
Well, okay, but
no
money.
No sales. It was bad. It was a WWE Films.
Theatrical sales.
No, it was WWE Films. It's because in that time when they made that, WWE was the only thing out there, and they were turning money over, like they were making money hand over fist. So it's like, oh, we made a bad movie. Let's make another one.
Okay. Should have been an Undertaker movie.
Did you guys ever watch? I think it's called 13 Ghosts.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good movie.
That was bad.
I like that movie.
That movie was bad. It was convoluted. It was bad. The monsters in it.
They were good.
The ghosts and shit, they were scary.
Yeah.
The movie was not. The movie was just
really
stupid.
Good makeup for the monsters in that movie. They had really good makeup artists for those.
Yeah, the monsters were good.
What about the House on Haunted Hill?
Yeah, that was one thing that I wanted to bring up as far as the TV series too, because the old movie with Liam Neeson and what's her name? She's married to Michael Douglas or what? Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah.
They did a good version, and again, it leads into that Netflix series that a lot of people were excited about and binge watched like crazy. Yeah. But again,
Femke Jensen's in that too.
Yes,
is that her name? The
and
original
the girl,
Jean Grey,
and the girl from The Conjuring.
Yeah,
that girl from the mom from The Conjuring.
Which one?
The mom from The Conjuring.
Which mom?
The mom of the house that they.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like Warren. I thought you meant like Warren, the one.
Oh, no, that's Viga Farmiga.
Motherfuckers know everyone's names. You guys are awesome.
You guys have any remake movies that you like? Any remake horror movies you like? No. I'll start off like I really liked, and I'll probably get shit on for this. I really liked the remake of Dawn of the Dead. Like I thought I was gonna hate that because I love the original. I love the original Night of the Living Dead. Yeah. But I really enjoyed the remake of Dawn of the Dead. Man, it starts off quick, kind of like we were talking about Train to Busan. Like it starts off, it keeps moving. There's a little bit of slow in the middle of it, but not too much, and then it just keeps going. And then I just thought that was a great thrill ride of a movie. Man, I had fun with that. I've definitely gone back and watched that one a bunch of times. I just think it's one of my favorite remakes.
Is that the movie where they're stuck in a mall? And
they
use the school bus to get out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good movie.
I thought it was fun. I mean, gory, it's action packed. Yeah,
and I think it has the value of being the remake, and it also has standalone capabilities for me. I thought it was, if you've never seen the original, you're okay watching that one, and you're totally good.
Absolutely, even though it's technically a sequel, you don't need to watch anything before the original or anything else. You can just jump right into that. And it's good.
I would say, go ahead, Eddie. Sorry, go ahead.
I want to get you guys input on that remake that they did for A Nightmare on Elm Street.
They redid it?
Yeah, they got that dude who played Rorschach in the Watchmen movies.
Jackie Earl Haley.
I'm just I want to drop things that he was in because I don't know his name. Oh, I think I saw that one once. I don't remember really liking it. But I feel like that one was trying to take Nightmare on Elm Street and back to being scary. Because after like Nightmare on Elm Street 2, I mean, those movies got pretty campy. I mean, they're pretty joke filled throughout. And I think those really appealed to me when I was more like 13 or so, because,
I think most of them are
scary.
pretty.
I think the first one's got it's got its merit. The second one is interesting. Most people hate it. It's kind of a reverse on a horror movie because our main character, the guy, is essentially the damsel in distress in the movie, and it's his girlfriend that's kind of the hero. Freddy's Revenge. Yeah. So I like the first two Nightmare on Elm Streets. I think I had the Dream Warrior poster as a kid. But like I can't go back and watch those. Like those are rough to watch. Yeah, same with like a lot of those Friday the 13th, man. Those are hard to go back and watch.
For Halloween.
Watching them is because you get those one punch liners that you're like, that's kind of funny.
yeah.
It's like, funny.
It's like that movie where they did the what's it called? Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah, just
bad movie, bro.
awful
That's
bad
a
shit.
garbage.
If you want to watch like a funny kind of horror movie, there's an old movie from the 80s called House. Where this guy, I forget the actor's name. He's the kid that was in The Greatest American Hero, and he had Bull from Night Quarter in it, and a couple of the guys from Cheers are in it actually. But he essentially inherits this house, and it's haunted, and creepy, weird shit is happening to him the whole time. But it's done with like some comedic overtones, which kind of makes it kind of fun to watch, but still kind of scary.
I mean, for me, I would say I liked it.
So
I like the original It, the new one.
We already talked about it.
Oh, you guys did?
Yeah, show up on time next time, buddy.
All right, I'll show up on time.
Millhouse's face. Seeing Millhouse laugh when like something just pops up in his head is fucking hilarious.
I'm ready to go.
Hey, go ahead.
Man, y'all came here to work.
Oh man, that shit was fucking hilarious. That was good. It was a good tag team.
Quick question for you guys.
Huh?
Eddie's all about the
Quick question for you guys.
What's the question?
Would you guys think the 1986 The Fly is a horror movie?
The acting, yes.
A horror in the sense that it's disturbing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously based on the original Fly, which was meant to be kind of a horror. I would call it, I'd equate it like Aliens, right? It's kind of sci-fi horror.
Mm-hmm.
It's not exactly full-blown horror, but and I think it was Cronenberg that did that, who's notorious for doing body horror. So I think it's got horrific aspects to it, but I think deep down it's probably more of a sci-fi movie. But Event Horizon, which is one of my fucking favorite movies, which is essentially a space haunted house movie, is debatable whether it's sci-fi or not, but amazing fucking film. Apparently there was a bunch more that was recorded for that movie or filmed for that movie that they cut out and then destroyed the film, because I would love to see I wish they made a director's cut for that movie. Yeah. That is one of my favorites.
Yeah, I read that it was like an hour and a half of extra footage that they had to squeeze down and told them to tone down the violence because that movie psychologically is just disturbing. One of the freakiest, scariest movies ever. And if you've never seen that, watch Event Horizon. That movie is just awesome.
I just remember one.
Any other question?
Urban Legends.
Why do you keep picking these PG-13 fucking horror films, Eddie? Watch a fucking man's film.
Final Destination.
I know what you did last summer. I know what you did last summer.
Jennifer Love huge tits.
So before we get into that weirdness, I'll just pay a bill.
Kibble.
When I sit back and I look at all the different publishing companies to bring my novel to, I can't help but be lost. That wasn't until I saw and was blown away by Blood Wolf Independent Publishing. No matter what they put out, it sells out. So now when I think about my next book, the only thing I need to worry about is just writing my book. Blood Wolf Publishing. Join the pack.
All right, I'm ready for Eddie to bring up Jennifer's body now.
You know that's the next thing on this fucking list right now.
He's like, this movie was terrifying.
No,
What are
Eddie?
you waiting for?
That's weird. Good job, Eddie. Good job. I'll let you guys go around one more time or one time to talk about whatever horror thing you want to talk about right
So
now.
I'm going to go more modern. I think I brought it up. I don't think anybody really liked it, but Hereditary. Man,
Yes. Bring it up.
I thought I brought it up in another time. You should just go back and listen to the old ones and see if I brought it up.
No, I'm good.
But Hereditary, man, I really enjoyed that. I had a basic idea of what the premise was going into it, but didn't read too much into it or watch too many of the trailers, so not to spoil anything. And if you haven't seen this movie, like, oh my God, about halfway through when it sinks those hooks in you and gets fucked up, that like I was sold. Like halfway through, I'm like, I'm in. This movie's the best. Yeah. So I don't know if anybody else here has seen it. I'm pretty sure you have.
Yes,
it is awesome.
Yeah, I think so.
I really can't agree with you more. It's in that top 10 of movies I can rewatch, movies that hook you, movies that are just intense that you're just like, fuck, that was awesome. And again, yeah, totally agree. That movie is something worth watching and sitting down for.
No?
I got nothing.
I'm going to take Millhouse's turn.
Go ahead. Take it turn.
Take it down.
I was just going to get him back.
Next time,
if I can bring up one more, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back 80s. I'm going to say two of my favorites. Again, they shouldn't have done anything beyond this, but the first two Hellraisers are, again, some of my favorite fucking movies. Disturbing visually, story-wise, it's fucked up. You don't get a lot of jump scares, but there's a few of them in there. The first one and the second one definitely go together. Anything beyond that is its own thing. But if you ever get a chance and you see the Hellraiser 1 and 2 together sold, buy them, watch them if you haven't seen them. Amazing. Yeah. Amazing movies.
Got anything still? Or are you still good?
Go ahead, Elaine.
You want to take my turn too? Because I ain't gonna do nothing
Eddie,
for horror.
hold on, Eddie.
You guys remember watching Leprechaun?
You and your PG fucking horror films. Are you gonna drag me to hell next?
Shit. Leprechaun.
Tomato.
That was an awesome cartoon. What the fuck you talking about?
Fucking movie, bro.
I know, it was an awesome cartoon too. It was a great cartoon.
Yeah, you got a bunch of sequels.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Are you talking about the Leprechaun with Jennifer Aniston or the sequels? The Leprechaun in space.
No.
Leprechaun in the Hood. Yeah, you go. Okay, go ahead, Eddie.
You guys watching Goosebumps?
I'm done. I gotta go.
Are you afraid of the dark?
Oh shit! All right, Eddie. I'm gonna go, and mine's along the lines of Eddie's. Since I already threw out a bunch of like already ones, I'm gonna go the movie that I loved when I was a little kid. It was scary as a little kid, but it was totally fucking stupid. It was so stupid. Ernest Scared Stupid. Like, I love that movie when I was a kid. I'm talking about when I was like 8, 9, and 10. Like when this movie came out, and I was just like, I love watching this movie. It was because it was funny and it was a little scary, for a little kid, a little scary, but it was funny. So I like comedy, and then having that little bit of scary in there was awesome. I like that. I wouldn't tell somebody to go watch that shit movie because it's fucking god awful. So don't watch it. But for me as a kid, it was
But if
the
you're
Trolls.
8 years old listening to this, that might be a movie you might want to check out.
Because like the Trolls were like the makeup on that was fucking awesome. It was amazing the makeup they did on those Trolls, and the way the aesthetics came through and how they were like always like oozing out and all that kind of shit. That was awesome. But the movie itself was fuck. It's a ball acher.
It's so stupid.
Yeah, this motherfucker's calling my shit stupid. Goosebumps and shit over here. Like, really, this is horrible. Rob?
How am I going to come back from that? Oh, yes. Let's talk about real horror movies. One I wanted to bring up that we haven't talked about in rated R movies was Bram Stoker's Dracula by Francis Ford Coppola. I have to shout out to the cast that was in it. Gary Oldman did an incredible job. Winona Ryder was in it. Mm-hmm. Sir Anthony Hopkins is in it. And one of my favorites, because again, when we talk about the chick that could save a movie, Monica Bellucci. I love that woman. So she is awesome. Swing! But again, Francis Ford Coppola did an amazing job with this one. It was very graphic, intense, and Keanu Reeves couldn't storm in throwing dude in there.
Dracula, get away from my girl.
That was good. I give you that.
That was great.
That was good. I give you that.
I got a couple questions for you on here. because I'm going to go with some supernatural sci-fi. And again, Event Horizon is something worth watching. Paranormal Activity was something that they said was incredible, and
The
people
first one,
rode
though.
for those.
Only the
And
first
again,
one.
Those didn't
Yeah.
scare me though. It was
Yeah.
just like it just felt like it was a nanny cam and all that kind of shit. Just
Kind of like a Blair Witch. It
Yeah.
felt like
So that was the other one.
Yeah.
that I wanted to
no, I
talk
didn't like
about.
Blair Witch
Yeah.
either.
I-
A bunch of white kids stuck in the fucking woods.
And when those movies were in the movie theater, people were walking out crying, and I'm like, "What the fuck movie did you watch?" I go, "Did I
Yeah.
not get 3D glasses for this?"
Well, I liked Paranormal Activity to the first one, but
Yeah.
again, I watched that alone in my room in the dark, and then didn't turn on the lights as I left my room to go get something out of the kitchen. And I have cats at the time, so I'm pretty sure it was the cats. But I remember seeing something zoom by and be like, "I'm sure it's the cats," but I'm just gonna turn on the lights anyways. Blair Witch. I didn't hate it, but it was just so hard to watch because it's so shaky. It kind of reminded me of like Cloverfield. Like
Yeah.
I really like Cloverfield, but it's made me tense because it's just so hard to watch because of the shaky.
Oh, that
cam.
movie gave me
Yeah.
a headache.
Yeah.
Cloverfield.
But it just was that's where my tension came from, not from the actual movie, but just trying to see what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if you remember in the news, people were like, "Oh, throwing up, walking out of the."
I wasn't throwing
theater,"
up, but it
and,
kind of like I went. I think I was dating someone at the time, and we somehow ended up sitting on the very front. Oh, so it was horrible. I had like a bad headache at the end of that movie. I couldn't watch it.
Yeah. And again, I'm going to talk because everyone else has done it, seems like, but I wanted to bring up Ed Gein. You may not know who Ed Gein is. He's a notorious killer and grave robber, also known as the Butcher of Plainfield. He had mommy issues. He never touched her room. He killed multiple people, practiced necrophilia, and made masks of skin.
Ooh.
So you're going to tell me, how did he influence horror movies?
What movie could he have possibly influenced, Pretty
Yes.
Rob?
I
He
wonder.
inspired Norman Bates of Psycho, Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs, and Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Again, when I watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I want to jump into that, where they watch the whole movie, and at the end of the movie, they're based on a true story. Maybe loosely based, but when they put that in there, you're like, holy shit, that could have been real, or that could have been your neighbor again, just like we talked about in the beginning. But this guy was him. This guy had sex with the dead bodies. This guy cut up people's
What's wrong with
faces
that?
and warned them all around.
It's not a
And-
clown
and-
or a midget, buddy.
Exactly. So I'm good. What's the problem?
Fun fact though, like going back to Ed Gein, if you watch the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre and you see the house that they live in, that's kind of what his house looked like. Shades made of
Oh, no
skin.
way.
He really made bowls of human skulls
Yeah.
and ate out of them.
Yeah.
His bed had fucking bones and skulls all around it. The way he caught him was he kidnapped the chick that worked at the local store, the local general store, and when they heard that he was the last one that seen her, so they didn't suspect him. Cops just showed up to go ask him, like, have you seen her? What was going on? And then we went to his barn. They found her fucking hooked up like an animal, already fucking flared he started pulling down her skin, butchering her, cut her open, pulled out the guts. That's how they fucking found her. And that's how they caught on to what he was doing. And that's when they went into her house. So like, holy shit.
It's a good way to end an episode.
Yep.
That's awesome.
That's phenomenal.
So- but before I end the episode, I do want to give shout out to Stardom Podcast, Jukebox Ginger Dylan, Mr. Goodbeer, which would be Lenny and Roman, the Random Dumbness Podcast with Kevin. I forgot his fucking co-anchor. It sucks. MDK, the Potty Snatchers, Noel and Vinny, Master Naps, who's a part of ROC Gaming. Am I forgetting anybody right now? Jeff Abbey Films from Jeff Schneider. Also want to give love to Jim Bob's Grizzly Beard Care. That dude's fucking dope. I do have stuff for you. He did send me stuff for you.
It's fucking so awesome. I didn't even go on that date. I didn't meet him.
Yeah, I know you didn't meet him, but he was so enthralled with you wanting to jerk him off behind a dumpster.
I mean, I'm not saying it was somebody else. I just don't know if it was him.
I mean, yeah, since me and you're the only ones with like actual facial hair, but Eddie does too, so I'll give him something too. But yeah.
You mean man's hair.
Man's hair, sorry. I don't have Furby hair. But yeah. See, I love that shit. When you get Millhouse to laugh when he first comes out, it's fucking funny. But yeah, so Jim Bob's Grizzly Beard Care. You can find it. The acronym always fucks me up. So it's JBG BC, JBG, say that shit fast.
I got tested for that the other day.
Right? .com. You can find stuff on that site. It's awesome. You can find beard kits, beard care. Your husband has a beard. Your boyfriend has a beard. What the fuck ever. Just buy them some shit. Right? If you have a beard, just buy some shit. It's awesome. Jim Bob's Grizzly Beard Care. Do want to give a shout out to ROC Gaming also, because that is our esports things now. So it's awesome. A lot of fucking different directions. Anybody have anything to say before I get off this bitch? Because Eddie's on Zoom right now, so I don't know if he's gonna.
So one thing I wanted to say, just real quick, and we're going to bounce it around the table. I talked to Beige about this. We want to have our own little version of Moral Dilemma, giving shout outs to the Mr. Good Beer podcast. So with the theme of horror movie franchises, I'm going to have you take or subtract one of these groups: the Friday the 13th, Halloween, Hellraiser, or Nightmare on Elm Street. You have to subtract one of these from ever existing characters, movies, and everything. You only get one choice. We're going to go ahead and go around the room. We'll start with Eddie.
I would go with Friday the 13th.
You would take that one out?
I would delete him. Yeah.
Okay. Rob?
Do I have to pick a different one?
No, you pick whatever one you want.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but that's probably what I would pick out too, just because everything else you mentioned, I really like. Usually the first one or maybe the first two.
Yep.
But Friday the 13th, I mean, the first one's good, but after that, it's just kind of.
Well,
Halloween, 100%. Fuck those movies.
Me, you're on the same wavelength here. I can't stand Halloween. To me, it wasn't good. It just irritated the fuck out of me.
I have that motherfucker dead in less than an hour.
Shoot him in the fucking face.
You're such a badass.
Fucking Rob. Eli?
Out of the series that I did watch, I'd say Friday the 13th. I mean, I like the other series a lot better. Even as I got older, I did watch the Halloween. It's entertaining, but Friday the 13th, I don't know. I kind of got over like the whole camp thing and kids screaming and all of that. I don't
It just
know.
gets repetitive, like,
Yeah.
it's the same movie over and over and over again.
Pretty much.
Rob?
So to close it out, and I might make an enemy of Eddie with this, but A Nightmare on Elm Street. I have a tough time. I have a tough time with the continuations, as Rob mentioned. With 1 and 2, they were great. As it continued on, the dream was so much. The dream was so much, and it didn't do anything for me after the first 2. And
Prime time, bitch.
You don't want to do it? You don't want to do emotional damage?
Emotional damage.
What's up?
Which movie?
Halloween.
Oh, there we
I would
go.
take Halloween out. I just, for me, it's too much. Over and over, it's the same shit. Like I would have said, blow his fucking head off.
I mean, I like the first one. The first one was kind of creepy.
Yeah, but the problem with that is, it's like Saw. The first one was great, and then as you keep going, it just gets fucking watered down.
Like I said, I liked 1 and 2. I liked what they did with Halloween 3. Not that I think it's a good movie, but they tried to do something a little different that tied into Halloween, tried to turn it into an anthology type things. But just with like I said, the Friday 13th, it's essentially the same movie over and over again with even wilder premises each time. Jason Takes Manhattan. Like, oh my lord, Jesus, fuck happened to these people.
On that note, fucking Jason Takes.
Jason.
Good job. Thank you for listening to the ROC. That group, Return of the Critics.